All right, let's talk about the big one, the final boss of A-level sociology, that 30-mark essay. But here's the thing, you don't need to memorize every single theory out there. We're going to show you a simple, repeatable formula that'll turn this monster question into your biggest advantage.
Yeah, you know the feeling. You flip to the last page of the exam paper, your heart starts pounding, and there it is. It feels like you need to download your entire textbook into your brain. But what if I told you there's a much smarter way to play this game?
Because, let's be real for a second, trying to remember every single sociologist is not just nearly impossible, it's not actually the point. The real secret weapon is something you can totally master. Yep, it all comes down to structure. The absolute best essays, the ones that get top marks, all follow a clear, predictable formula. Once you get this down, you can handle any question they decide to throw at you. It's all about working smart. Okay, so let's get into it. The best way to learn this formula isn't for me to just tell you about it. It's to see it in the wild. We're actually going to reverse engineer a real essay that scored top marks and figure out what makes it so good. So this is the final sentence, the mic drop, from our model essay. The question was, evaluate the view that the education system is meritocratic. And look at that conclusion. It's so clear, so decisive, it doesn't sit on the fence. So the big question is, how did it score? An incredible 28 out of 30. I mean, wow. This isn't just a pass. This is the gold standard. And by the time we're done here, you are going to know exactly how this essay got that mark. And, more importantly, how you can do the same. To really get why this essay is so brilliant, we have to put on our examiner hats. We need to learn their language, and that means getting friendly with the assessment objectives, or AOs as they're called. This is basically the secret code to getting all the marks.
And here it is. It's so simple when you see it laid out. The 30 marks are split perfectly 3 ways. 10 for AO1, 10 for AO2, and 10 for AO3. See? You can't just be a one-trick pony. To hit those top grades, you've got to be scoring well in all 3 areas. Let's quickly break down what they actually are.
So first up, AO1, knowledge and understanding. This is your bread and butter. It's basically showing the examiner that you've done the reading, you know your stuff. You can name drop theorists like Parsons or Bowles and Gintis and actually explain what they said. Then we've got AO2, application. This is all about using your knowledge. It's not enough to just list a bunch of theories. You have to connect them to the specific question you've been asked. And this is the part everyone forgets, that little chunk of text they give you, the item. And finally, AO3, analysis and evaluation. Honestly, this is the game changer. This is where you go from just describing things to building a proper debate. You weigh up arguments. You point out the strengths, the weaknesses. You make a judgment. This right here is what separates a pretty good essay from an absolutely fantastic one. So that's a lot to juggle, right? Knowledge, application, evaluation, all at once. How on earth do you make sure you're hitting all 3 AOs, not just once, but over and over again? Well, the answer is a brilliantly simple but super powerful structure you can use for every single paragraph. Okay, take a look at this paragraph from that 28 out of 30 essay. I know, it looks like a big wall of text. It seems complex, but trust me, it's built using a very, very simple recipe. A method you've probably heard of. The Peel method. Point, evidence, explain, or link, or evaluate. Now, this is not just some silly acronym to remember. It's a logical pathway that forces you to build a perfect, well-rounded argument every single time. Let's break down that model paragraph using this exact method. First up, P is for point. The paragraph starts with a really clear, direct topic sentence. It links straight to the item and tells the examiner exactly what this bit is going to be about. No messing around. Next, E for evidence. And there it is, your AO1, right on cue. The writer doesn't just make a claim, they back it up with specific sociologists, Parsons, Davis, and more. This shows off that deep knowledge. Then, the second E, explain. You can't just drop a name and run. You have to explain what that theory actually means in your own words and how it connects back to your point. This is you showing the examiner, hey, I actually get this stuff. And finally, we get to L for link and evaluate. This is where the magic happens. This is pure AO3. Did you spot that keyword? However, bam! The writer immediately flips the argument on its head, bringing in counter-evidence to critique the point they just made. They're creating a little mini debate right inside the paragraph. It's brilliant.
Okay, so that's the peel paragraph. That's your fundamental building block. Now let's zoom out and see how these blocks stack together to build a whole essay. Once you've got the paragraph down, honestly, the rest is just an assembly job. And there it is, the whole formula. A quick intro to set the stage, 3, maybe 4, of those rock-solid peel paragraphs to build your case, and then a powerful conclusion where you make your final judgment. That's it. That is literally the entire game plan. The whole point of your main body paragraphs is to stage a debate. Think of it like you're putting these different perspectives in conversation with each other. So one peel paragraph could lay out the functionalist view. The next could bring in the Marxist critique to challenge it. You could even add a feminist perspective. This structure naturally forces you to do that high-level evaluation the examiners are desperate to see. So, you see, this isn't some kind of magic trick that only a few people know. It's a technique, and it's a technique that you can absolutely learn and perfect. So let's do a super quick recap of the key takeaways you need to write your own amazing essay.
Right, here's your checklist. Aim for 3 or 4 killer peel paragraphs. Always back yourself up with names and studies. Never forget to evaluate. That's your AO3 goldmine. You absolutely have to use the item, easy AO2 marks, frame the whole thing as a big debate, and end with a conclusion that takes a firm stance.
Look, that 30-mark question can feel like a mountain to climb, but really, it's just a puzzle. And now, you have the formula. You have the code. You've got the blueprint, the building blocks, and the strategy. Now you just gotta go and do it. You've got this.